A growing network of so-called doctor detectives is giving hope to patients with rare and unidentified conditions. Hundreds of physicians belong to the Undiagnosed Diseases Network with 12 clinical sites. The New England Journal of Medicine says the group has solved 132 mysterious medical cases and identified 31 new conditions. Bravo to them. Dr. Narula is here with new details about this network. I like what I hear, Tara. Good morning.
I know, it's very exciting. Good morning. The network of doctors across the country was set up by the National Institutes of Health in 2014 and is funded by taxpayers. For patients whose symptoms have stumped medical professionals, the group is often their last hope. For years, the Miller family has faced an uphill battle, trying to find a diagnosis for their two sons, Carson and Chase. The boys, now 5 and 6, have been unable to walk, stand, or speak since birth.
You hardly had any lunch.
Originally, they were diagnosed with cerebral palsy, but their parents felt their symptoms didn't match up.
There were many nights when we were up wondering why this is happening, why can't the doctors help us, what else can we do?
The family eventually applied to the Undiagnosed Diseases Network, or UDN, where doctors attack medicine's toughest cases by offering families access to cutting-edge genetic research at no cost. Wednesday's report in the New England Journal of Medicine says the group has completed evaluations on 382 patients and diagnosed more than a third, often through DNA analysis that uncovers a rare genetic mutation. Dr. John Bernstein works at the network's Stanford site.
For some of our patients, we've looked at the genomes of all of the microorganisms that may live on their blood or in their body. Ultimately, what we're really trying to do is find patients who are similar to each other. That's really what the foundation of diagnosis is.
The report also says nearly 60% of the network's diagnoses lead to recommendations regarding a change in therapy or treatment. Earlier this year, doctors found a gene mutation in the Miller brothers, leading to a diagnosis of MEPAN syndrome, a rare metabolic disorder.
Okay, Carson, ready? Open.
We actually have a chance at helping the boys figure this out. Like, there's going to be some next steps here. There's going to be people that hopefully we'll be able to talk to now because we have a leg to stand on, having a diagnosis now to look at.
The Millers say there are no proven treatments currently available, but the diagnosis will help them build a coalition to fund future research.
The more patients you have, the more families, the more resources, the better your chances are of securing funding. We've come a long way, and it's through programs like the UDN that I think is putting some sense around all of this.
Doctors say every new diagnosis adds to their understanding of these rare diseases and how to detect them. The network can't take on every case, but it's received more than 2,700 applications, a number that continues to grow.
And some hope there for Carson and Chase and their parents, right, for doctors to see if they can find a cure for MEPAN. I want to ask you about the other mysterious illness that we've been talking about this week, acute flaccid myelitis. In 2018, we've already had 38 diagnoses in 16 states. What is it? And what can you tell us about this disease?
So this is a rare but can be serious condition that affects the nervous system, particularly the spinal cord. And so usually children or young adults can have sudden onset of weakness in the arms or legs. They can also have trouble speaking, swallowing, or facial muscle problems. And we don't know exactly what causes it. It may be linked to certain viruses or even genetic problems. And we diagnose it typically by an exam. So you have to take your child to be examined, and then usually imaging, where an MRI will show characteristic lesions in the spinal cord. Sometimes they even take a sampling of the CSF or cerebrospinal fluid.
It's being compared to polio, right?
Yeah. Right. It's caused, we think, sometimes by non-polio enteroviruses, a family that's similar to the family of poliovirus.
It's scary not to know what's causing it. Do you have any idea why it's happening now?
Well, so we know that there's been a little over 300 cases in the last 4 years, so it's definitely not new, but it seems like it's on the rise, and we don't necessarily know why.
Wow.
Very frightening for the families going through it. Thank you, Tara. Always good to have you here.